Welcome to A Spark Ignited. I'm your host, Danielle Nicole Ramsey, here to help you light up your life with inspiration, real talk, and a whole lot of fun. It's time to ignite the spark within you and dive into the stories and wisdom that'll keep you moving forward. Let's make some magic happen. What's up, you guys? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of A Spark Ignited. I'm your host, Danielle Nicole. I'm so excited you guys decided to join me today. Right alongside me is the Renaissance man himself. He is known as a serial entrepreneur because, let's face it, his hands is in everything. But don't get it twisted. Everything that he touches, it's pretty much turns to gold. So everyone welcome Jamar Church Pinkston to the podcast. Hello, Jamar.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Doing good. It's Sunday afternoon. Sun is shining. Feeling great.
It's beautiful, beautiful weather out there today.
It really
I'm
is for
very happy.
December. We can't complain, right?
Not at
Can't
all. Not after
complain at
the
all.
blizzard that's been coming around.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be this week. You know, the Midwest is known for all four seasons in 1 week, right? So I guess we
In
can
one
call
week,
today
sometimes in
summer.
a day.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But no, I'm really excited to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I know who you are, but my audience may not. So if you don't mind to share a brief introduction of your origin story, who you are, and how you became this Renaissance man today, that would be awesome.
Yes. As you said, am a Renaissance man. I became an entrepreneur when I was like 14 years old.
Wow.
I quickly realized I didn't want to work for anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
My dad he started his own business, his own construction business. My mom, she was a hairstylist. So it worked out really good. I got to see that entrepreneurial spirit all through my
Mm-hmm.
childhood. And
Yeah,
when
you
I
did.
turned 14, I'm like, well, if they can do it, I can do it too. So I started cutting hair at 14, and
Okay.
that was my origin story of being an entrepreneur. So through that, I've been, a car salesman, a nurse, a
Okay.
teacher, baseball coach, photographer, poet, chef. I've done a
Mm-hmm.
lot. I've done a lot. And
Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
today I like to title myself as just I'm a photographer, a content creator, a public speaker, and podcast host. Yes.
Yes, yes. Awesome. I love that. Here I am thinking I had a million jobs in the world. I think you got me topped. You know what?
Ooh,
We got to do what feels good to the soul, right? Like,
that's true.
I'm
Yes.
someone that I will not do anything that does not feel like I'm supposed to be doing it. Like, I need to be passionate about it. And that sounds like that's something that
Exactly.
you have to be passionate about your line of
Yeah.
work as well. So, I love
Hmm.
hearing that. So,
Yeah.
14 years old, knowing that you wanted to have your own business, man, to
Yes.
know
I
that
knew it.
so early in life is just really awesome. Such a blessing. You
Thank you.
really did have a perk with your parents being an entrepreneur. So, so great. Love hearing that.
I faced the challenge with that though, because
Yeah.
although they were entrepreneurs, they were like very heavy on no, you need to go to school, you need to get an education, you need to. And I'm like, okay, well, you got to know what I'm seeing. Y'all are giving me the
Mm-hmm.
representation of entrepreneurship, but yet you want me to do something different.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it was a little bit of a challenge growing up, but
yeah.
we made it work now.
Absolutely. I mean, 'cause, let's face it, the struggle of entrepreneurship is no joke. And they probably just wanted to shield you from that as much as possible. But, you have
Yeah,
made such a great name for yourself, and I know they're super proud of you. So, so
thank
you're
you.
known as a true Renaissance man. How do you balance all the creative pursuits you're involved in, from video creation to business coaching to content creation?
So how do I back? Everything is on a schedule for me. So
Okay.
I have to live. I used to be the person who like, oh, it's in my brain. I got it. I don't need to
Mm-hmm.
write anything down.
Mm,
No, now with having so many things happening and sometimes all at the same time in the same
right.
day,
Mm-hmm.
I have to have a schedule and everything has to be like on point for that day. And so I'm not a time schedule person. Like at 2 o'clock, I have to do this
Mm-hmm.
because days be so crazy. But I make a list. Like I live with sticky notes all
Oh
around
yeah.
me. And
Mm-hmm. I
I'll
get it.
make sticky notes all over the place. And before the day ends, I need to have all those sticky notes taken care of. So
Yeah.
that's what I mean by like it's on my schedule. I know I need to do this video. I know I need to have this meeting, blah, blah, blah. And
Mm-hmm.
so by the end of the day, everything needs to be complete.
I
So
love
that's how
that.
I'm back for now.
Yeah, it's a great way of balancing. I'm someone that works off like my iPhone, the notes. I think I
Mhm.
have like over 5,000 notes in here because I have a to-do list every day. Because as you said, there's so many moving parts. And I know me, if I don't
Absolutely.
write it down, if it's not on the schedule, it's not going to happen.
Does not
Because guess
exist.
what? I'm not going to remember it because I have a lot
Exactly.
to juggle. So, okay, so that's a great way of balancing things. And I feel like once you kind of write it down, you kind of register it a little bit more too. It kind of helps you remember. But
Yes.
yeah, it's a great way.
Yes.
Awesome. So, congratulations on launching your own podcast. So,
Thank you
it's
so
called
much.
Not
I
a Real
appreciate it.
Podcast. First of all, where'd that name come from? What does that even mean?
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative. It gets the people going. So I um I am a person who likes to always, how I like to say it, I like to find a line in the sand just so I can cross it.
Okay.
And with people, this heavy surge of podcasts, everybody wants to get a mic, everybody want to have a podcast. And so me, I'm like, well, if everybody want to have a podcast, I'm not gonna have a podcast. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a podcast, but I'm not gonna call it a podcast.
Got
And
you.
so I was like, it's not a real podcast.
I love
They're
it.
like, well, what is it?
Very
It's just
intriguing.
something I'm doing.
Oh yeah,
But deep
we're
down, it is a
intrigued.
podcast.
We're intrigued for sure because if it's not a podcast, I want to know what you're doing, what you're saying, what are you going to bring to the table, all the
And that's the
things.
good part. You never know
Yeah.
what's gonna come because it's not real, so you don't know what you're gonna get. Another thing about like I don't like being boxed in, and so
Hmm.
if I create a podcast called "Oh, this is the mental health podcast,"
Yep.
you're expecting me to only talk about mental health. But if I just tell
Mm,
you it's not a real podcast, it's like, what is he gonna talk about today? I could come from left field and talk about cars.
that's
I
right.
could talk about mental health. We could talk about relationships. We could talk about whatever.
I love
So I
it.
made it open ended.
Absolutely. Man, okay, I'm not trying to piggyback off of you, everything that you say, but
Do it.
it's so
Do it.
relatable to me and my life and how I
Yeah.
just how I operate in general. And I've been wanting a podcast for like 5 years, and I was just really like, I just fear just kind of held me back and feeling like I need like the perfect this, that, and so basically that was just an excuse. But I decided to pull the plug earlier this year, and I'm so happy that I did. But I always knew that when I did have a podcast, I wanted to just talk about a wide range of things because my life doesn't consist of one thing. I am a person that's
Exactly.
dealing with everyday life things.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that really bothers me, and you could tell me if it bothers you too, because it sounds like it does, you don't like to be boxed
I'm
in.
pretty sure.
I don't like to be boxed in whatsoever. I call myself a hippie because a hippie just do what they want to
Exactly.
do. Okay,
Yes.
because that word niche drives me insane. I'm like, okay, so basically you want me to water myself down. You want me to just talk about the same, like that sounds
Yeah.
horrible to me, you
Yeah.
know? To each their
They do it.
own, they could do whatever works for them. But for me, I'm like, no, this is freedom for me. Talking on this podcast
Exactly.
is freedom. So is that something that you can
Hmm.
relate to
I
as well?
I I absolutely agree. Niche is a hot word now with
Mm-hmm.
social media and everyone wanting to teach and everyone wanting to help the next person. Everyone is piggybacking off of the next, talking about, oh, you got to niche down. And I'm like, okay, well, you don't have to niche down. If you
Mm-hmm.
do, that's good. You
Mm-hmm.
have people who will come directly to you for that, but you don't
Right.
have to niche down. I
Mm-hmm.
like to tell people that you need to have a target. And
Yeah.
so with a target, like, yeah, you can hit the bullseye, which is the niche, but
Mm-hmm.
you have all of this space on the target as well that you can
Mm-hmm.
hit and still make an impact. So that's how I like to
Absolutely.
look at it, like a target.
I couldn't agree more. It's like you said, it's just that word. Everyone heard it and they took it and ran with it. And I'm just someone, I'm not the go with the wind type of person. I'm like,
Yeah,
why is
me neither.
everything the way that it is? I'm going to dissect it before I even adapt to it. And if it doesn't make sense to me, you can
Exactly.
just keep it. You can keep it.
Exactly. Simple as
Yes,
that.
absolutely. So you teach creative people how to make money. What are the most
Mhm.
common misconceptions that creators have about monetizing their talents, and how do you help them overcome it?
I think that people don't believe that their ideas are monetizable.
Okay.
And I tell people all the time, if it can help society go faster, further, more efficiently,
Mm-hmm.
it's monetizable. Simple as that. Like if
Mm.
you can feed those three things in some way,
Mm-hmm.
shape, or form, even
Mm-hmm.
if it's only one of the three,
Yeah.
then you have an idea that can make you some money. People miss that concept all the time and they think that, oh, I gotta be perfect and I gotta do this and I gotta do that and I gotta make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted and like,
Mm-hmm.
no, they think you have to be great to start and you
Mm-hmm.
don't. You just have to start to be great. And that's the concept that I always tell people.
Literally hitting the nail on the coffin here today, because that is just so true. Like I feel like because of social media that everyone kind of overthinks because they're too busy looking at what other people are doing, what they have to
Yep.
say, things like that. And that's just not what we need to be doing. Like we really
Yeah.
need to just, trust ourselves, one thing, because when you trust yourself, that's huge already, but once you have that
Exactly.
down, like you said, just start. Everything will flow and you will learn as you go. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
People always, and I think fear plays one of the biggest pieces in that as well. Everyone is
Mm-hmm.
so scared to
Mm-hmm.
start. And I'm like, you have to start. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
fail. You know how many millionaires went broke and became millionaires again? How many people went broke before they became millionaires? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're, the fear is what's going to stop you every time.
Yep,
So you got to
absolutely.
overcome that fear and
Mm-hmm.
just go. You got to give it a try. That's my biggest thing that I teach people. Just try. You have to
Mm-hmm.
try. You're going to fail. You may fail a little, you may fail a lot, but as long as you failing forward, you're going to be good. Just
Exactly.
keep
And guess
growing.
what? You now have experience in what it is that you're trying to do. So, like you said, fail
Exactly.
forward. So it really
Yeah,
is the best teacher, to be honest. So yeah.
it is.
Yep.
So I love
Agreed.
I
I do too. I'm just like, because I was one of those people that was bound by fear and what people were going to say, how they were going to. I'm just like, first of all, who are these people? If those people
exactly.
are in my circle, then they probably need to be out my circle, but at least give yourself a chance, Danielle. That's what it took. Give yourself a
Yes.
chance, like you owe
Yes.
yourself that. You don't always want to wonder what if in your life. This is your life now. So do
Yeah.
whatever you can to make it better. That's in your control. So don't get me on my preaching horse, honey. Okay.
Hey,
So,
listen, we do this all day. I'm
yes,
with you 1000%.
absolutely. How do you help creative entrepreneurs break through the noise in today's saturated market?
Breaking through the noise. I help them break through the noise with the numbers, you
Okay.
know. And by that, there are so many, everyone wants to talk about the market being saturated and,
Yeah, and I don't like
this
that.
and that is going on. And again, like it's just noise.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to use examples of the millionaires and billionaires that are out there. So Kim Kardashian, for example,
Mm-hmm.
Skims is worth like 3, $4 billion, multi-billions, I know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Who was doing Skims before her, basically?
Well, lots of
Victoria's
people.
Secret. Like Victoria's Secret was the main, person, and everyone could
Mm-hmm.
say like, oh, they have the market on lock
Mm-hmm.
until
Mm-hmm.
Kim Kardashian came, brought something different. Rihanna with Fenty, you,
Yeah.
you know. there was Mary Kay, Maybelline, all these people before Fenty Beauty had came out.
That's right.
But Rihanna came, killed the
Mm-hmm.
market. She's a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeezy, Kanye, being his
Yeah.
authentic self. He has clothes, shoes, socks, all the things that were already out here. But because
Mm-hmm.
he chose to market himself the way that he did, he's now a billionaire. So those
Mm-hmm.
are three examples of like billionaires and plenty more that are out there. Kylie Cosmetics,
Yeah.
yeah, Kylie,
And look, they're in
Kylie
the
Jenner.
same family. They still go.
Right.
So
Like
she has
it's
her
so many examples
KKW.
out here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's so many examples out here of people that are doing things that were already out, but they are doing it a different way. And they're billionaires, not
Mm-hmm.
million, but billionaires. So
Yeah.
that's how I help people fight through the noise is with the
Mm-hmm.
numbers. Like if they can
Absolutely.
do it, you can do it too. They just
Mm-hmm.
overcame their fear and put it out there.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. We have so many different restaurants that specialize in burgers, wings. I mean, are you going to say, I'm not going to do my wings or open my restaurant up because it's already more out there? No, if you believe in
Exactly.
yourself
No,
and
you're not.
believe in the product that you have to offer, go for it. Give yourself
That's
a
it.
chance.
When
Yep.
I opened my restaurant, I told my team like, give me 2 years to help put us on the map.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't I seasoned things differently in my restaurant and I did cook them differently, but I didn't have any extravagant things that were new. I had burgers, I had
Mm-hmm.
quesadillas, I had wings, I had pizzas. It was
Mm-hmm.
a regular like bar food, American bar food type restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided to be a little different by making sure everything was turkey based.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was a turkey product because a lot of
Okay.
people weren't eating beef and pork. And in two
Mm-hmm.
years, St. Louis American, we were top 20 restaurant. I forgot what number we were, but we were definitely in the top 20 restaurants of St. Louis
That is
in
really
less than two
awesome.
years.
That is wow. Congratulations. That is amazing.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
because I mean, who doesn't
Thank
want a
you.
burger, pizza, fries? Like we're all gonna want that
Especially if you
forever.
do it a different way. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when we did it our way, and
Mm-hmm.
I knew what people like because I listen. A big
Mm-hmm.
thing that I tell people when I'm coaching or when I'm teaching is that,
Uh-huh.
I listen, I learn pain points, I create solutions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's my motto for everything, and that is why I'm able to consistently create businesses that are doing well, that are profitable, that grow because I
Yeah.
listen, I learn
Mm-hmm.
pain points, and I
Mm-hmm.
create a solution for that.
I love that. Love, love, love it. Well, it's evident that you're doing such an amazing job in your business. So, so proud of that. So proud to hear about that. So,
Thank you.
you made a name for yourself as a content creator and a photographer. What's your
Mhm.
approach to creating content that not only resonates but also stands out? And what do you love most about photographing? I can tell you what stands out about your content creation. I just saw something a couple days ago where you said it was a do and don't. And you said you want to be a content creator. This is what you do. This is what you don't. And it was quick and to the point. And I'm such a quick and to
Yeah,
the point type. Like if you don't get me in 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you won't get
simple.
someone. And you excel at that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. I
absolutely.
was big on making I hated watching YouTube videos that were 25 minutes long, and the first 13 minutes of the
Mhm.
video, they're talking about nothing.
Yep,
I'm like, so
wasting my
I
time.
just need, you're wasting my time. I'm here for something specific, and I'm watching your video. I know
Mm-hmm.
you have it in here, but
Mm-hmm.
you're giving me all this fluff
Yeah.
around the nugget that I need. And
Mm-hmm.
I've always been just the person who I'm going straight for the nugget.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I can, if you need a 2 minute video about something, then I'm gonna be able to do it in 2 minutes. I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
make it 12 minutes and spend 10 of it talking about a bunch of stuff that I know you don't need. And
Right.
so like I'm getting to the point because I don't like people to like string me along. So I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
string anybody trying to learn from me along. I'm gonna go
Oh
straight
yeah.
to it. And when it comes to my content, like I guess that ties in. I like being relatable. You
Yeah.
know, you can relate to my content because
Mm-hmm.
you don't like. wasting your time. I don't like
Absolutely.
wasting my time either. And I know a lot of people don't like wasting their time. And we're in the age of we ain't even a microwave
Talk about it.
society no more. We,
1 minute is too
we
long
faster
these
than
days.
that. Like you
Seriously.
gotta be able to catch people in three to
Hmm.
5 seconds, and
Yeah.
otherwise they're gonna keep on scrolling. So
Hmm.
whenever I'm talking, whenever I'm speaking, teaching, making content, I'm straight to it. I got that hook, and I'm
Hmm.
gonna reel you in. I'm gonna give
Hmm.
you what you need, and then I'm gonna send you on your way.
Yeah. Yep. And that's exactly what you do. I saw it and I actually screenshot it because I was like, well, what is it saying? Because even though I'm new into this entrepreneurship world, you know how it is when you're first starting. I'm my
Yes,
social media marketer, I'm my content creator, I'm my
you're
creative director.
everything.
I am everything right now. So I'm always trying to be better than I was the day before. And you're someone that I can look to
Absolutely.
for advice and guidance and things like that because you're doing the things that I want to do. And so when I saw it, I was just like, yes, that's it. I know exactly what he did there. So, and then my
Yes.
mindset is quick and to the point because I know how I am. So,
Yes.
yeah, definitely helping the people out here, church. First of all, how'd you get
I'm
that name,
trying.
church?
So my dad is, I guess I should have added that part in. So my dad is a pastor,
Okay.
and my dad and my uncle are both pastors. And growing up being a poet, I had to come up with a stage name. And
Oh,
so
okay.
uh I started doing poetry at different churches and stuff, and I'm like, my name will be Church Boy. And
Mm-hmm.
so everyone started calling me Church Boy. But when I grew up, I was like, oh, I'm gonna pull a Bow Wow, and he ain't little Bow Wow no more. He just Bow Wow. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not Church Boy anymore. I'm just Church because I'm a
Okay.
man now.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
everybody started calling me Church. And that's just how Church was born around 15, 16 years old.
Oh, wow. Does anybody ever call you Jamar?
Yeah, a few people, like the ones who knew me between like up to age 12 or 14, if they were
Uh-huh.
calling me Jamal, then they're like, you can have everybody else call you Church, but your name's
Mm-hmm.
Jamar. I know you as Jamar. I'm calling you Jamar. So I'm
Right.
like, all right,
Yeah.
fine.
I always wonder how you got that name. So that makes sense. Not you pulled a Bow Wow.
Being a PK, I'm the good old PK kid.
I love it. So, okay, what's one lesson you've learned in your journey as a creativepreneur that you wish you knew when you first started? So, give us the advice
Hmm.
because you're in the game now for 15, 16 years.
Yeah, yeah. My biggest thing is to move with intent. Like
Okay.
you have to be intentional with your movements. So
Mm-hmm.
every person that you connect with, every meeting that you have, every business you want, any piece of content you create, you have to be intentional with what you're doing because
Mm-hmm.
I see it all the time. A lot of people move horizontally. They
Like,
think they're doing a lot just because they're moving around a lot, but they're not actually going anywhere.
mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not that type of person. If I do
Mm-hmm.
something, I want there to be progress. Like we said, even if you fail forward. And
Right.
so people get so caught up on doing stuff like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here. Oh, I'm over there. Hey, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But it's not really making you any money. It's not
Mm-hmm.
helping your mental. It's not
Mm-hmm.
helping your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
You're what are you really doing? You're just
Right.
making noise. And so my
You're just
biggest
everywhere for no
lesson that I
reason.
tell people everywhere for no reason. Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't really see me out for real. When people see me out, it's normally because a camera is in my hand, which means
Mm-hmm.
that I'm getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, or if I'm on a stage or this and that, it's because I'm doing something that is either helping me by,
Sure.
getting there's a payment or so some kind so that
Sure.
I can take care of my team and take care of the home front,
Uh-huh.
or I'm taking care of other people by giving them knowledge, giving them
Mm-hmm.
game, giving them resources, giving them
Mm-hmm.
whatever I have because
Yeah.
I'm a servant first. Being a PK kid, like I was
Mm-hmm.
raised like you have to be a servant first. You have to give first. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's my biggest thing is moving with intent and making
Yeah.
sure that move is done with pure intentions,
Mm-hmm.
but intentional nonetheless.
That makes a lot of sense because, like you said, and I won't really like elaborate on it too much, but you covered all bases of, just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're doing something. You're just making a
Exactly.
lot of noise, and you really want to be intentional about the moves that you make because I mean time is of the essence. It's a currency that we will not get
Yes.
back, so we have to make sure that we are pouring our energy into things that's beneficial all around.
Yeah.
So to just be in every space and every place is just not the way you want to be moving. So yeah,
Yeah.
move
It's
with
not conducive
intent,
at all.
guys. That's what he's saying. Okay.
Yes.
That sounds good. So, how do you deal with setbacks or moments when you feel creatively blocked or uninspired?
That's where my team comes in. So it kind of goes back to moving with intent, right? So
Okay.
I intentionally have um taking it back to church. They used to always talk about making sure you have like a wise counsel of people around you.
Okay.
So when I took that and I'm like, cool, I want to make sure I have a dope circle of friends in
Mm-hmm.
my corner.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have those moments of weakness, when I have those moments of feeling defeated, mental blocks, anything like that, I know that I can pull from the people around me because
Oh, that's
we're
major.
all, yeah, we're all filling up ourselves with the
Mm,
same mindset, with the same
mm.
intentions, things like that. So
Yeah.
if you got a person that always want to be at the club, you always want to be working and doing stuff positive that's helping and benefiting you. When you start getting low, if you want to pull from this person, what they
Mm-hmm.
gonna say, like, oh, well, you just need to come out to the club,
Go turn
have a
up.
couple drinks with me, like
Right.
turn up, you'll be okay. That's
Mm-hmm.
not any, you can't pull, that's not a good resource for you to pull from. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
when you have that person that, okay, well, if you're at a low point mentally, you're having a
Mm-hmm.
creative block, what's going on? Let me be able to help you. And if we're on the same wavelength, we have that same synergy, I can pull from you and
Right.
be filled up with the same thing that I was depleted with. And
Totally.
so having that wise counsel and having those wise friends and
Mm.
people who are just like you is very important.
That is
That's how
so
I'm able to make it.
that's amazing and such great advice. And I'm in a new season right now where I am meeting like-minded individuals and expanding my
Mhm.
circle to look more like what it is that I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to be and create,
Yes.
because I feel like sometimes when we have our circle of friends that we've been friends with for a long time, like we love them. They always have a special place in our heart, but like sometimes you can't go to them, like you said, you can't go to them for that renewing of like soul synergy that you need for yourself because they're
Yeah.
on a different wavelength than your wavelength, which is totally
Yeah.
fine. But like it's so important, like you said, to just make sure you're surrounded by people who get you, get what it is that you're trying to do, and they can pour into you whenever you feel depleted and down. So yeah.
Yeah. People always talk about their day ones and all of that. And I'm a
Hmm.
firm believer in like, I'm big on day twos. So just because you're my day one, just because we have history doesn't mean anything. Like
Hmm.
currently and presently, are you
Totally.
benefiting me?
Totally.
Because you're either helping me or you're hindering me. It ain't no
Hmm.
in between when it comes to me. And
Yeah.
so I look at day twos real heavy. It's so many people that I've met on this creative journey that I've been on. So many people
Hmm.
in all my walks of life that I've met that are way more beneficial than the people I grew up with.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
like you said, they hold a special place. Like we have core memories from our childhoods with them or
Right.
whatever. But just because we have those memories, like, doesn't mean that you're meant to be with me in this season that I'm in. And that's
Correct.
not to say to just completely cut them off,
Oh,
but it's
totally.
just to move, you move differently. And so
Yeah.
you may not be the person that I call when I'm coming up with a new business idea or a
Mm-hmm.
business
Mm-hmm.
venture. That's
Right.
somebody else I need to call.
Yeah,
But if we want to reminisce on old times or something, then I'll still call you. We'll talk. But
exactly.
you
Yeah,
got to know the season that you're in, and you got to have the right people for the right season.
absolutely. Man, that's just so profound that you said that because like you said, like and you'll even notice it, you feel it. It's a feeling that you have deep down like I'm calling so and so a lot more these days, because I'm talking about this a lot more these days,
Yeah,
and your body you just know it, and it just is what it is. Like you said, it's not it's not a negative thing. It's just you're elevating,
Hmm.
you're wanting to evolve in your life, and that's
Yeah.
just what it takes. Placing people in
Yeah.
certain spaces
Like,
and seasons. Yeah. Hmm.
you said it. Like, I believe that everybody knows when a person's time is up, but going back to that fear part, people are
Hmm.
so scared to let a person go because they have
Mm.
history or
Yeah.
because we have this bond and this connection. But
Hmm.
if it's not benefiting you, then why are you still holding on to it?
Man, this
And
has
I
been the
never,
biggest growing year for me based on what you said. Because I was someone that felt like everyone can come along. Oh, they can come, we'll figure it out. But no, they can't. And it's
I can't.
okay. Do you want to step into this next season of your life, Danielle, or not? Because the choice is yours at the end of the day. You can stay right here, stay stagnant, stay doing the same thing, or you can continue to grow and elevate like you want for yourself and make certain decisions
Exactly.
and move in certain ways. So, yeah, yeah, definitely. That's a whole different
Nail
podcast.
on the
Totally.
head.
That one hits the heart. Can you tell? Okay.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So, can you share a transformative moment in your career that changed you in ways that you never thought possible?
Transformative moment. Um, my mind was transformed when I got a lot of different moments.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk about the speaking one. So
Okay.
the moment I knew I transformed and wanted to become a speaker is, again, I was doing poetry. This was many years ago. There was a conference and they invited me out to do poetry, and I felt so special. Like, they
Mm.
flew me out, they
Oh,
got me
yeah.
a room.
Mm-hmm.
I was still paid. I was still paid like $2,000 on top of that, just for a
VIP
15
treatment.
minute poetry segment. Like,
Oh,
I'm
you
like,
made
okay, yeah, I could do this. Like, I'm doing
it.
15 minutes of poetry for 2 grand. Like, come on, that's easy.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And then I overheard, and we went to the back and we were talking and doing all of that. And I just overheard the conversation that the keynote speaker that I did my 15 minutes, and then
Hmm.
they had the last 45 minutes of that hour to do their
Okay.
keynote.
Uh-huh.
I got paid 2,000. They got paid 10,000.
Hmm.
And I'm like,
Okay.
wow. All right. So I need to go into speaking, because getting paid $10,000
For
to
45
speak for
minutes.
45 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking I'm killing it for 15
Thank you for
minutes,
tuning
but
into A
there's so
Spark
much
Ignited. If
more
you
that
enjoyed
you
this
can get. And a
episode,
lot of people
subscribe,
get
leave a
so
review, and
caught
share
up
it with
in like,
someone who
oh,
needs
I've made
inspiration.
it.
Remember, the
I
spark you
like it
need is
because they're
already
making
within
more
you.
money
Keep
than they
fanning the
did
flame.
2, 3
Until
years
next
ago,
time,
which
take
is
care and
great.
stay inspired.
Yes, but
Yes.
there's still so much more money that can be made out here. People are millionaires, billionaires. They go
Mm-hmm.
have lunches that cost $20,000.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. They have vacation out. Like, my mind has been so open to money and like
Uh-huh.
how much people can actually make off
Mhm.
just ideas.
Absolutely.
And so
Endless
that was
possibilities.
a big transformative moment.
I mean, I'll say, from going to, oh, I made it, I made 2 grand to, wait a minute, I could just speak for 45 more minutes and make this much more money. Let me get to it.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, it's already in you to do it. So why not just get better at it and, master the craft
Exactly.
so that you can make that?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
dope. That's dope, dope.
Thank
Love
you.
that. Yes, absolutely. So now that you've launched your podcast, is it out yet? Have you launched it or you just premiered it?
Not yet. Top of the
So
year is coming.
coming out top of the year. What do you
Coming
hope to
out.
achieve with this podcast? And are you excited for certain guests that you have on?
So what I hope to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that people just learn more about the people who are actually doing things in the city. Um, Again, we get so
What
caught
is the
up on
city you
like
speak of, sir? What is the
St.
city?
Louis,
Okay. Just
St.
so you
Louis,
know.
Missouri. Yes.
Okay.
So we have this conversation about like, oh, um, everybody's like clicked up, and
Okay.
you got to be part of the in crowd to know about all the things.
Yeah.
It's the same with the line in the sand. I'm not a part of nobody crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I either look at it as I'm not a part of anybody's crowd or I'm a part
Mm-hmm.
of everybody's crowd because
Mm-hmm.
I can go over here and talk to you guys. I can go over here and talk to y'all. I could
Speaking
talk
my
to
language.
anybody about anything.
That's
But
right.
at the same time, I can go home and not be a part of anybody's anything. So
Man,
that's how I like to
absolutely.
look at it. But
Yeah.
I take that and I am like, okay, now that I'm starting a podcast and it's not a real podcast, I want to meet and talk with people who are essentially experts in their field.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to come on our podcast and talk and educate the people. That's all I want. It's
Got it.
education because
Yeah.
there's so much education that people can learn. I am a sponge. I love just watching random things and soaking up random knowledge. There's a
Yeah.
Instagram page called Uber Facts. I
Okay.
go on there I go on there at least once now, maybe once a week because I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing so much more. But I used to be on there every day, just
Uber
learning
facts.
random facts. Like, did you know
Okay.
that a frog doesn't hiccup? And I'm like, wait, what? Crazy stuff. Now they got
Yeah.
some good stuff as well, but
Mm-hmm.
they also just got weird facts, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And so
Yeah.
I am big on making sure that people are always learning something. So when they come
Mm-hmm.
watch our podcast, I want them to learn about whatever that expert has to teach, whether
Yeah.
it's a firefighter, whether
Uh-huh.
it's a barber, a
Yep.
chef,
Yep.
a mental health expert, a sex expert.
Mm-hmm.
As
Mm-hmm.
grown as we are, people still don't have solid sex education, in my opinion.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna have a little bit of everybody on. So it's not the typical, yeah, we know this person, we know that person, like
Uh-huh.
everybody knows them and they're no, I'm finding people who have something good to talk about, regardless of your status in St.
Absolutely.
Louis.
Mm-hmm.
If you have something to talk about, we're gonna bring you on.
Yep. And that's how I am. Like that does not matter to me. Like your message and what you're trying to convey to everyone to help them, encourage them, you know, based off your expertise is what I'm into. Sounds like you're just trying to
Exactly.
copy off me. This is what it sounds like a little
I
bit.
am. You know what? I wasn't gonna say it, but I appreciate the help, the blueprint.
Absolutely. You know, I do what I can here. Do what I can. So, what topics do you plan to dive into on your not podcast that
Hmm.
are dear to your heart?
Oh, so I do want to talk about mental health, and more
Okay.
importantly, I would really want to find like a black male therapist to
Okay.
come on.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That'd be nice.
I'm a huge fan of forgive me if you watching this and I say your name wrong, Kyer Gaines. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. I am a
Okay.
huge fan of his.
Mm-hmm.
He is a mental health expert. And
Mm.
on his Instagram, that's all he's doing is just dropping gems about mental health, about how to be a better father, how to be a better husband, how to just be a better person, whether
Yeah.
you're with someone or not. And
Mm-hmm.
I love his message. So I want to find a black male therapist that I can bring on.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a sex educator.
Uh-huh.
Everyone just the Meg the Stallions and the Cardi B's got everybody just wanting to twerk and oh, we're gonna
Yeah.
be ratchet, we're city girls, all of that. But
Mm-hmm.
there's really a lot to sex education. So I
Yeah.
want to find someone who can want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like
needed
those are my
too.
two biggest ones. Yeah, for
Mm-hmm.
real. Like those are my
Absolutely.
two biggest ones. Parenting, maybe a parent counselor because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people struggle with, dealing with their kids or
Mm-hmm.
things that are going on in their life,
Especially
trying
in
to
today's
balance
society.
parenting.
Yes, absolutely. I'm
Kids are
raising
committing
a teenager right
suicide.
now. Hmm. Yeah, and it's
Hmm.
different. She's in
And
high
so
school, and it's a different world today. It really is. Yeah.
very much so. And so the
Hmm.
people who have taken the time to learn about this new world and how
Hmm.
to navigate it from a
Hmm.
child's perspective, or from a parent's perspective towards the child, I want to
Hmm.
bring them on because I know that there are plenty of people who are parents who are going to be watching and like,
Hmm.
wow, I didn't know that I needed that, but I'm glad I saw it. So that's what I want.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I cannot wait to tune in. This sounds amazing. It's going to be packed with so much knowledge, so much wisdom, and a lot that we can all learn from. So I'm waiting for
Exactly.
your not podcast coming on. So it has been a joy talking to you, Jamar. I am so excited for people to just learn more about you, your expertise, what it is that you have to offer. Where can people find you on social media?
Yes. So Instagram is like my biggest one. I
Okay.
am that guy church. Real
Okay.
simple. No
That guy church.
underscores, no period. That guy church. Real
Mm-hmm.
simple.
Okay.
Um, and from there, you can find me everywhere else as that guy church or church productions,
Okay.
which is my business.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure I'll link the description and below in this podcast episode so they'll have an easier way of finding you. But before we
Yes.
go, I like to do a few rapid fire questions. So you're okay? You game?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
What's
I'm
your
here for it.
go-to source for creative inspiration?
Instagram.
Instagram? Yeah. I mean,
Instagram. They
why
are,
do
there's
people
so many
always say that
creatives on
Instagram
there.
is dead? It's not. I don't understand
So
that.
that's something I tell a lot of my students and people who when I'm teaching, like, if you change the way you consume, you'll change the way you create.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
think Instagram is dead because they consuming it wrong. They looking at
That's
it in the
right.
wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram is alive and
And
well.
popping.
Instagram and YouTube. So
Yep.
I go on there and I get so much inspiration. My save folder
Mm-hmm.
has so many creatives who have done things that spark the creativity in my brain to want to create some stuff that I've done. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that I create was sparked because somebody did a variation of it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's they don't have to be other photographers or videographers. I've seen moms who were like in Target doing
Mm-hmm.
like a trend or doing something. I'm like, I could take that, make it
Mm-hmm.
about cameras or make it
Mm-hmm.
about content.
Yep.
I
And
get
there you go.
inspiration from everywhere.
I think so. Yep. That's awesome. One book or resource that has changed your biggest impact in your career, or that has been the biggest impact in your career.
The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership.
Okay. That sounds really prestigious. Never read that
It's
one.
I was shooting an event
Okay.
and I heard them talk about that. The keynote speaker brought that book up, and I was
Okay.
like, "Ooh, that sounds like a cool title."
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, if I want to be a leader, if I want to be a better leader,
Mm-hmm.
then that sounds like a book that I should check out. Let me see.
Yeah.
And so, yes, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership.
Okay. The moment you said it, I was intrigued. So I'm going to check it out as well. What's one myth about your content creation or business coaching you like to debunk?
Hmm. It's a couple. One myth. Uh, that everybody can do it.
Okay.
Every everyone can do it because if everyone could do it, then they would do it, but
Everyone
they
will do
can't.
it. Mm-hmm.
And so people are because again they consume so much content. They
Yeah.
think that I could do that. I'm gonna be a
Mm-hmm.
content creator. Oh, I want the brand deals, and
Mm-hmm.
this is a full-time job. This is a
Ooh,
very hard life.
preaching to the choir.
And that is a big misconception. People think
Mm-hmm.
that everybody can do it. I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna quit my job and be a content creator. Please don't.
Don't.
Please don't.
Don't. God told me to do this. I wish he did. Like I miss going. Like I love what I do. Don't get
Roller
me wrong,
coaster.
but
Every
my
day is a roller
goodness,
coaster.
it sure is, and it's very long hours.
Oof.
Okay, and last but not least, what's a project or collaboration you're most excited about right now?
Project or collaboration. I would say the collaboration with Uncle Nearest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working out the deal, and hopefully it goes through. But that
Yeah, good
is
luck for you.
something that I'm super excited about it. And if
Mm-hmm.
it does, then I will be overjoyed. So that's the
Absolutely,
only
as you
thing
should.
kind of cooking.
Yes.
That's the one thing cooking right now that I'm
Awesome.
hoping will go through.
I love that. I love that. Again, thank you so much for joining me today on A Spark Ignited. What's something
No.
that ignites your spark?
helping others.
Helping others. That's it. And that's all.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in again to Spark Ignited. As always, you can get me every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts and every Wednesday on YouTube for the visual. All right, you guys, have the best week ever. Peace. All right, I always try to find the book. Thank you for tuning into A Spark Ignited. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs inspiration. Remember, the spark you need is already within you. Keep fanning the flame. Until next time, take care and stay inspired.